This is the Radio 1 News update for November 11th. I'm Lady Miriam. In local news, two high-ranking Apsara Authority officials were arrested over the felling of a century-old rosewood tree at the Angkor Archaeological Park that caused a public outcry earlier this week. Chor Tanat, Deputy Chief of the Apsara Authority overseeing forestry, and Chev Paul, the Chief of the Authority's Internal Office for Forestry Administration, were arrested following an investigation that found the pair gave orders for the tree to be cut down, which police characterized as illegal logging. A 27-year-old construction worker died after being electrocuted on the job, an incident that once again called attention to the precarious working conditions in the construction industry. Working on a building site in Sen Sok district, laborer Kao Vichet died after receiving an electrical shock when his foot got caught on a live wire. He and three other workers were moving a metal bar when his foot got caught and pulled the wire. Water fell and caused an electrical shock. Cambodia's Ministry of Environment gathered a network of government and civil society representatives to begin planning the creation of a biodiversity conservation corridor that would make it easier for wildlife to thrive, linking the eastern plains and the northern part of the Tonle Sap Lake with the southern part and also the coastal marine areas. Biodiversity corridors connect isolated conservation areas with strips of vegetation to allow wild animals to travel from one protected area to the next. Conservationists say the corridors are instrumental in allowing animal populations to grow. With the final weeks of the national voter registration drive approaching, the National Election Committee has identified 19,000 duplicate names on the new digital lists. Though 80% of the doubles stem from data sent multiple times by officials with poor internet connections. Yeah, we've all been there, haven't we? Phnom Penh Governor Pa Sotchet-Vong issued a statement demanding a complete moratorium on construction projects and banning large trucks from November 12th through the 16th for the Water Festival. He said, quote, "We are going to ban any truck transporting goods as well as buses, cement trucks, and any construction site from operating." It's all good, but the buses, that sounds a little odd. We'll have to see how that goes. In regional news, Japan and South Korea agreed to hold a third round of talks on a military intelligence sharing deal after holding a second dialogue on the Japan-Korea GSOMIA agreement. The two sides agreed on key points focusing on sharing classified military information, document transmission and destruction methods, as well as dispute resolution and countermeasures against losses. In international news, Trump wins the presidency. He is now the president-elect of America. Enough said. 7 people have died and dozens more have been injured after a tram overturned in London. People were trapped inside and more than 50 were taken to the hospital after the derailment in Croydon. The tram driver has been arrested on suspicion of manslaughter. British Transport Police say they were investigating whether he fell asleep. Monkeys with spinal cord damage that paralyzed one leg quickly regained the ability to walk with a wireless connection from the brain to the spinal cord below the injury. The achievement is yet another advance in the rapidly moving field of technological treatments for spinal cord damage. In recent years, scientists have achieved brain control of robotic hands in monkeys and humans, helped a paralyzed man regain some use of a hand through a chip implanted in his brain, and used electrical stimulation of nerves to enable paralyzed rats to walk again. The new system is unusual because it concentrates on the lower body and allows a monkey, and perhaps in the near future a human, to use a wireless system rather than be tethered to a computer. In business news, Cambodian workers, especially those in the garment industry or employed by the government, can expect a little extra cash on hand next year as the National Assembly reviews draft legislation that would raise the lowest taxable income threshold from $200 to $250. Under current law, taxable income kicks in for anyone earning over $200 a month at 5%. The amendment would raise this threshold to $250, while pushing the top of the income tier to around $375 from $312. While raising the higher threshold will likely put a small dent in the government's coffers and operating flow, the reform should provide some additional breathing space for Cambodians on the lower side of the income spectrum. A Malaysian automotive company has requested approval to establish a factory in Cambodia to assemble Nissan automobiles and manufacture spare parts for the vehicles. Tan Chong Motor Holdings Berhad, or TCMH Group, is the franchise holder of Nissan vehicles in Malaysia and the Indochina region. The company operates assembly plants in Malaysia, Vietnam, and Myanmar, and holds distribution rights for Nissan vehicles in Cambodia and Laos. This has been the Radio 1 News Update. Visit our... You're already on the website, so I guess you don't need to visit it. Stay tuned for more news on Radio 1 FM 103.7.